Hey guys, welcome to another Tuesday live stream. I hope you're having an outstanding start to your week. This is episode number 38 of the year, season 2, 38. 39, not 38. I got the wrong date. Make sure I have the right slides. Today's episode topic is narcissistic double binds. What they are, what to look for, how to get out of them. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Hopefully it'll help you in what you're dealing with. It's a topic that we have to hit every once in a while because it's one of those things that keeps coming up. It's not exactly the most exciting thing in the world, but it's one of those things we have to deal with. So let me get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way. First thing I always like to say is I am not a therapist. I'm an individual, much like you, who has been through a very complex situation. And I've come up with tips and techniques that I've used to help me, that I share with you to help you. Be careful if you do not have a diagnosis, be throwing around medical, clinical terms. You do not want to be set up in a situation to where you appear to be diagnosing your ex. So be careful of that, careful what you say. If you want to get a hold of me during the live stream, you can do that in a couple of ways. The best way is in the chat to tag me and just do @DSD as the channel name. It'll give you a little drop down, as you can see if you're looking at your screen, and then you can say question. And here is my question. As you can see, GA actually did tag me, and you can see what I see is an orange highlight, which makes it considerably easier to do that. If you like what I do here and you want to support it through the YouTube platform, you can do that by doing a super chat, or a super sticky, which I don't know what that is, but a super chat allows you to write a comment and donate a certain amount to help keep the lights on, keep things going around here. If you are not interested in doing that through YouTube, because some of you are not, you can actually do that through, through the website. It might help if I hit the right button. Through the PayPal, you can become a patron and support the channel through Patreon or through PayPal. So every little bit helps. I appreciate everything you guys do. So the other thing that I was going to mention and got out of sync on it is if you do want to sign up for my newsletter, which in theory an email went out telling people about the live stream, you can do that by going to the dadsurvivingdivorce.com website. If a big dialogue pops up, you can sign up for there. Just scroll down to join the DSD newsletter right there, which I got to get on the right screen so I can scroll around. If you think that one-on-one coaching would be helpful for you, I do that, and I have been getting more clients on that, which has been incredibly rewarding, I have to say. You can do that, through the website. Just click on coaching, and it will bring up all the dialogue boxes to do that. So let me double check to make sure I went through on that. Oh, the last thing I want to say, if you want to get your life back, break the cycle of abuse, strengthen your relationship with yourself and with your children, start right now by subscribing. Click the bell notification so you don't miss a thing. All right, guys, like I said, I hope you are doing good. Let me double check and see who all is here tonight. And we got a handful of people. And actually, as I start that, anybody on the newsletter, did you actually get said newsletter? Because I scheduled it to go out, and it appears to have not gone out. God, I wonder if I set it up for the wrong day. Did anybody get an email from me? Or is that a complete and total train wreck? If you got it, hit 1. If you're on the list and you didn't get it, give me a big 0. Give me like 3 zeros so I know that it was a total failure, a total catastrophe. It's not that big of a deal. But one of those things that it would be nice if technology would work appropriately and do what I want it to do. I mean, I guess considering I'm live streaming in my living room, I guess I can't complain too much. So I'm just going to double check this real quick to see if I can see what's going on with this campaign. It says it's sending. Okay, so it says it's doing something. Excuse me. And nobody is, I got a 1. Okay, so it is starting to go out. All right. Good to know. Let me close this so I don't do anything. Oh, James the Reviver says sleep study. I did. See, we were talking about that the other day. I did speak to my doctor. Actually, she more like yelled at me. But in theory, I might be doing a sleep study soon. So, Tara says, what newsletter? Or what newsletter? That is the what I was talking about earlier. You can sign up for that. And what I have started doing for people who have signed up for the newsletter, which you can do that over at dadsurvivingdivorce.com, is sending out a thing saying, hey, there's a live stream. It's happening now. Here's the link as another reminder, since I had someone actually tell me the other day that they got the announcement from YouTube that I was going live an hour after the stream was over. Or an hour after it was already going. Either way, it was like, seriously? Well, that's a feature that works really well. Anyways. All right, so we got a handful of people, like I said. So I will say hi to Measure Twice. SE Tennessee, hey, I think you're new. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. Old Shawnee Road. Right to Debbie is on her way back home from work, so she'll be listening. Tara says, hello. I'm so happy when I can catch these live show. How is everyone? I'm doing pretty good, Tara. I hope you are doing well. Lee is on. MFA, Divorce Papa. Smrit is on. Says, hello, everyone. We have been 2 minutes before show. Been there. Okay. Yeah, so the show actually opens up before it actually goes live. So you guys can hang out before we start. Oh, Mike's even on. Coffees and cameras. Welcome, Mike. Glad you could jump in. I know you probably won't be able to stay too long. Andrew F. GA, all the way from the other side of the planet. So it's late for him. I made it, as GA says, Duane, I made it. Sister has gone in for a C-section. Baby Alex is going to be an uncle tonight. Aw, awesome. Congratulations. So, God, that's late if that's going on right now. So, Brett is on. Tracy says, congratulations to all survivors. Good luck. Keep your head up. Never look back. Love that. That is awesome. Okay, so thank you guys for jumping in. I'm going to go ahead and get into tonight's topic, which tonight's topic is narcissistic double binds. This came up, or has been coming up quite. This comes up all the time. This comes up in my life all the time, but I've seen it in comments and questions lately, and even some discussion on the Discord. If you're not familiar with the Discord, you can sign up for that at the main channel, and just clicking on the far right icon, which is the Discord invite link. So don't forget about that. Anyways, so we're going to talk about what double binds are, what to look for, how to deal with them, and then some extra thoughts that I think on that. And then hopefully we can get into a little bit of discussion on what you guys are experiencing as double binds and how it is affecting your life and how you are able to deal with it. So the first thing I want to jump into, one, give me a one or a thumbs up if you're like, hey, that's a good topic. I'm glad you're talking about that. And a 000 if you're like, yeah, that's not really. I wish you would do something different. Would love to see what you guys think. And while I'm waiting for that to come in, I will look at a couple of comments. Cameras and Coffee, which you guys should check him out. I know I share some of his videos. He's a friend of mine, and he makes some really cool videos and does some of his own music, which is really neat. GA says, I got major gaslight today when I got back from work. Oh, that sucks. I Like Grit says, Duane, I'd like to do a coaching session, just not sure if you'd believe the shenanigans being put on me. I Like Grits, I would be surprised if I would not believe you, to be perfectly honest. I've heard a bunch of stories, and so, but I don't know, let's do a session and see what happens. All right, so hiding in the light, I like that negative 00001. That's funny. I appreciate that. Okay. So what I want to jump into now is, in case you guys are not aware, a double bind is actually a word in the dictionary. And it means a situation in which a person is confronted with two irreconcilable demands or choices between two or more undesirable courses of action. I actually like the way that I put that in there because I always use course of action, so I thought that was kind of neat that was part of the definition. And my take on this, it's a routine tactic of a narcissistic person trying to manipulate you to do what they want. The crazy part about it is oftentimes it's a double bind, so no matter what you do, it's kind of what they want. But typically when they do it, there's something that they really want you to do, and everything else is just kind of like gift with purchase. So double binds, and I know I'm going to jump into this in a moment, is they're really tough. I mean, and I'll tell you, and I have a hard time formulating this, but during my marriage, my ex, my wife at the time, had a unique skill of being able to present a question with no good answer. It was like the Star Trek Kobayashi Maru test or whatever that Kirk had to take, the one where there was no winning situation. And it was amazing. I couldn't believe how she could word something to where, and then however I answered it was wrong, right? It's like set it up in a way to where I could take offense. I'm going to ask you a question that I could take offense to anything you say. Sometimes I'll do that if I can, I'll do it with Debbie as a joke, but I do it, you guys know how I do my little voices and stuff. I kind of do it as a tongue-in-cheek, like, what? You said that? John says, Duane, oh my God, my narc is a constant double bind. Holy cow. GA says, if we could only cheat that test. And I think, you know what? In a way we can, and we're going to talk about that coming up. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cough on the microphone. So on that, let me jump into the next part. Okay, so I know we know this, but what do you look for when you're trying to figure out if you've been put into a double bind? And basically there are no good options. It's whatever is thrown out there, kind of like what I was just talking about, even with that verbal stuff. It's like, I'm trying to think of I always have a hard time formulating the question. It's kind of like, do you guys like my channel or not? And then if you say yes, oh, you don't, or you say no, you don't. I mean, it's like, oh crap, every answer is a bad answer. And typically what happens in our situations, and this can also be with work, but typically in our situation, it's used with children. And an example I kind of put up here is, I want Timmy on your time for something, and if you say no, you are a horrible parent. That's kind of the way it normally plays out. Normally, it's one of those things to where, the other person is trying to get you to do something that they want you to do, and if you say yes, it's a problem, and if you say no, it's also a problem. And then the significant part about this, I think, is that most people don't see behind the behind the scenes on what's going on. They don't see the context of what's going on. All they see is, like in my situation, if it was someone said, well, Duane, your ex asked if she could take the kids to a play, to a movie on your day. Why would you say no to that? And then you're stuck, and then that's another, right? That's a whole nother double bind, because now it's like you're sitting there trying to explain it to somebody who doesn't get it, and it works in the favor of your antagonistic narcissistic ex, because to them it provides the example of why you're the bad person, why you just can't let it go, why you are just making things so complicated. If I just try, okay, I'm going to go into my little acting mode. I just try to co-parent, and they just won't do anything. I had this special thing. I mean, there was an ice cream social with all the kids from school, and I could take them, but he said no. I don't know if you can see the puppy dog. I was trying to do the puppy dog eyes. So, and then the problem is that everyone gets like so involved in that emotional part of it. And they're like, oh my God, why would they say no? Why wouldn't they do that? That's so horrible. This isn't about him. This isn't about Duane. It's about his kids eating delicious ice cream with their friends. How could he say no? Now, the easy part out of this would be to say, why doesn't Duane take him? Right? But that's not a solution. Oh no, can't do that because he's a monster. It'd be a danger to have him around other people. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy how this crap goes, but that's what I'm talking about, right? That's the type of thing. Okay, you guys, if you understand what I'm saying, if it makes sense, if you can relate to this, give me a thumbs up. Give me a 1 if you don't want to do the thumbs up. Oh, Tara says, okay, do you work in my office too? That's funny. Yeah, hey, and and I don't even thought, Tara, if that was directed at me, but what I will say is all of these people follow the same plan, follow the same coursework. They take, they have the same book. So a work person will play the same stupid game. And it's all about manipulation. It's all about controlling the narrative. And it's enough to try to drive you crazy. Anyways, let me scroll down here and see what people... Whoa, everything went... Okay, cool. I saw a bunch of 1s. Let me see. Blue says, wish mine sounded that nice. All I get is anger. Well, I don't want to play anger on this, but Blue. But yeah, that's typical too, right? I mean, and that's normally how it plays out. It's not I mean, to everyone else, they'll play it out that we're the enemy, right? But to us, they are going to lash out. They're going to hold their boundary. They're going to speak their mind, and then they're going to use that to try to show everyone else how they're trying to stand up to you, how I'm trying to stand up to my abusive, narcissistic ex-husband, ex-wife, whoever it may, boyfriend, girlfriend. They play the same thing. It makes it really tough for people who are on the outside of this who do not understand, because it's all so screwed up. It's hard to make sense of. John says, Duane, my narc kicked me out of my home and steals my kids and calls me a bad parent because I won't pay for the home I was kicked out of. Then she says to the kids, I'm so difficult. I'm only laughing because I had a conversation earlier today which went along similar to that about the the dental stuff. It was like, I won't pay and I'm not doing it on purpose. Come to find out, if anyone is, who's Blue Cross in California, for some reason, they sometimes send the checks to the person instead of the vendor. Talk about a pain in the butt. So I've had that little problem I'm dealing with. So I had to pay that and then get the bank, or not the bank, get the insurance company to send out a whole bunch of new checks because I had you get so bombarded with stuff. I just dropped it in the shredder. I didn't know I was shredding checks. It's funny now. It wasn't funny when I found out. Anyways, Rainy Nickel, hey, welcome back, says, Duane, they never will answer a question with yes or no when it comes to decision-making for the children. So you can always choose wrong, and they say you went against them. Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to say, hold on, and it just reminded me of, it's what John was saying. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Here's a key on this, and I know I'm going to get into this in a minute, but no matter what you do, you're going to lose. If you accommodate, it's like you can never do enough to make them not be the victim and you not be the antagonist. I mean, so, and that kind of is what we're going to get into here in a moment with the discussion part of this on what's going on. Let me scroll down so I make sure I'm not missing anything. GA says, Duane, not at the point yet where we are debating what day we are having my daughter, but I can relate to the scenario of double binding. Many situations in my marriage. And GA, I will say that unfortunately, this is going to be a reoccurring theme. So prepare yourself for it. This is probably going to be something you'll want to revisit because you'll need to remind yourself of some of these things. So let me see where we are. Just double checking. James is like, what in tarnation do you mean by these people? I need to get at these people. Maybe I should make a shirt that just says DSDers fighting #these people or something. I don't know. I wish I had a little bit more artistic ability to where I could make something that was actually more interesting than that. But alas, I am not good other than drawing stick figures, which I'm not good at either. Let me see what else everyone is saying. Chad says they're deliberately vague so they can screw with you. That is absolutely true. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, James says you'll send me some designs. Awesome. Hiding in the Light says, very true. Having a situation where my husband's ex-wife keeps us in court constantly. At the moment, it keeps scrolling. I have to give a deposition by her attorney. If I don't, I can be in contempt. Yeah, unfortunately, that is one of those things that does happen. So, okay. So now I want to get into, okay, so I have two other parts on this. So the next part of it is, how do you deal with this when this is happening? And I know I say this all the time, so please bear with me. I know it's going to sound repetitive, but slow yourself down. Take a breath. They are going to try to do this in a situation to always make you feel like you need to immediately respond. And like I have here, they will try to make it an immediate response required situation. Don't fall into that trap. Slow yourself down. Take a breath. You actually do have time to think about it. Follow, what I would say on this is when you're slowing yourself down and you're thinking about it, and I wish I would have drawn this out, is that you have look at the decision matrix tree. I don't know if you guys have seen these at work, or just like normal little flow things, like, if yes, here, if no, here, and look at the scenarios. Say, for instance, and I do have this listed on the next slide, but I'm going to talk about this a little bit right now. A good example from my experience was a couple of years ago when my daughter's friend came into town, right? Was coming into town right on my vacation time. When that happened, I know I've said before that as soon as I knew that happened, I knew I lost. But how did I know that I lost? Well, because I basically did follow this decision matrix, decision tree to see what the true consequences are. And that's what I did kind of in real time. I can do this quickly now. But I looked at it and went, oh, crap. If I say no, then I'm going to be painted as a scumbag that is only focused on myself. My daughter's going to be upset. The ex is going to use it against me to try to drive a wedge with my daughter, which is exactly what, and that was like when I was talking about before, what was the other slide where I said, they're trying to get you to do what they want. So in my situation on that story, basically my ex was trying two different things. One, to get what she wanted, and partly what she wanted, in my opinion, was to screw with our vacation, right? That was the ultimate goal. The other, the fake part was doing this thing with the girls, going out and having this adventure with them on it, right? And so I had to look at it and say, okay, so if I could say no, I could have absolutely said, nope, we have plans, and that's not going to happen. But when I was looking at the decision tree, there was no good option. That's why I said I lost on that before I even started. What I had to do is I had to look at the big picture and not just at the immediate thing. The immediate thing would have been to say, no, we're not doing this. This is my time. I've already told you it's my time. It's not happening. We're done. The problem is, like I said, drive a wedge with my daughter, potentially have me play an active role in the alienation of my daughter. But I had to look at the bigger picture. Fortunately, we didn't have anything, too much money involved that we couldn't move around. And I had to look at it and say, okay, what's the best decision in this double bind? And the decision for me was to move some things around and let my daughters go to that. And that's ultimately what I did. It's like I said, it's a double bind. It's a bad situation, but I had to look at the overall picture and see what the damage was. I could have been right. I could have said no. I could have done a bunch of different things, but the consequence would have been more of a rift with my daughter. I don't really care what the ex says about me to her friends or anyone. It doesn't matter anymore, because she's going to say I'm a scumbag to anyone anyways. So it doesn't matter what I do. So I don't even really think about how it works with or how it affects her narrative, but I look at how it affects me personally and how it affects my relationship with my kids, and finally, how it ultimately affects the kids. Oh, hiding in the light did a it's going to read it here in a minute, but did a super chat, getting ready to leave, says, good night, everyone. Says, thank you for all you do. Thank you so very much. Hiding in the light, I appreciate that. Unless I have something, it should, there it goes. Oh, I have a phone call.
Alien Monster, thank you for all of that. You do, Alien Monster.
Yeah, Alien Monster. I didn't even notice that. That's pretty funny. Thank you, Hiding in the Light. I really appreciate the super chat and the support. Have a great night, and thank you for hanging out with us tonight. So, all right. So on that, do you guys get that? I'm going to go in a little bit more detail on the next slide, but give me a 1 if you're good with that. If you have any questions about this specific part, tag me at DSD and let me know. All right, I'm going to look for, okay, so I got a bunch of 1s. Alien Monster sounds like a narc. That's funny, James. I appreciate that. All right, okay. And let's see. All right, I'm just double checking just to make sure I didn't miss anything. MFA says, beware of the alien monster. That's pretty funny. Oh, speaking of that, so Chad had said, I'm not going to take time from their mom's time. She can't touch mine. No F's given. Yeah, and I get that, Chad, and that for the most part that's a good decision. Just be careful how you implement and approach that, because they will set up these double blinds to really try to set you up in a situation to where you start creating a rift with your kids. For the most, for a lot of times it didn't happen. What I will tell you, amazingly enough, this is 8 years into it. Technically, my daughter is in her room taking a nap with her headphones on. I normally don't do live streams with them here, but the situation today was the orientation for her high school, where you go in, you get your ID card, you get your picture for your ID card, your books, your locker, your schedule. They give you the briefings and all the paperwork and all that stuff. That was today. Obviously, since mom has a JOB now, she can't take her. And it's weird because I kind of threw it out there and said, okay, well, I thought it was going to be earlier. So I thought, okay, we'll come over Monday night. I'll take you in the morning and then whatever. And her mom actually said she could spend the night. So I went over, got her. We went to the school thing. We did that thing and hung out a little bit together. And we're going to do some stuff after the stream. So that is the first time in 8 years that her mom has let any of the kids, I think maybe one other time, but I think this is the first time. I could be wrong. On her day, stay at my house. And anytime anytime I needed her, there was like three times in the last 8 years where I needed, for work or emergencies, needed her to keep the kids. Never could get a trade. It's like, hey, you got the kids on my day. Can I have another day? Nope. They love the NO. All right, William has any device on my former comment. William, bring that back up after we're done. It doesn't necessarily pertain to this, so when we're almost done, bring it up again in case it rolls up. Like just copy it, and so you can paste it again, and we'll hit it here in a moment. Okay. So the other things to consider, excuse me. Your narc will use this to try to force you to make a decision that hurts you. Kind of like this is what I was just talking about. Basically, to drive a wedge with your kids, and Chad, this is why this is really important, and then prove their point about it. And I don't necessarily care about them proving their point to their little friends and other little family members, but they'll also use that to prove a point with your kids. It's like, oh, it's so sad your dad won't allow you to do that, or, that type of thing. It could be done in a couple of different ways. Normally, it's very covert, it's very subtle, and it'll just be like painting a picture. It's, like, for instance, in this situation, let's say I was trying to do that, and her mom said no. Nope, sorry, you can't go. It's my day. I could have been like, oh, it's just so sad that your mom won't even just let me pick you up for a couple of hours, right? I mean, you can do it maliciously. I mean, technically what I'm just talking about is very similar to what happened whenever our daughter was in soccer and the team picture in the first game was on her weekend. And I was begging her. I'm like, wow, I almost said her name. I was saying like, X, can I just let me, I'll take her for the picture. I won't let her play. I'll just take her and I'll bring her back. Just let me take her to get a picture, her soccer pictures and her team picture. Nope. No, actually didn't even say nope. She said no. No, we're busy. I'm like, no, that type of thing. And, I don't remember how I dealt with that with my daughter, with our daughter, but that could have been an easy thing. That could have been a double bind that I was trying to put it into the situation. And then the answer, then turn around and be like, oh, it's just so sad your mom won't do that. That type of stuff. So here's the thing. Sometimes saying yes can be your best course of action. Like flip the script. If I had kind of plans and the ex had pushed our daughter to be in soccer, well, see, here's the thing. I would have never said no. But if I would have like, oh, I'll take her, or I'm going to be there it's a first game. I'm going to be there too. Right. I mean, I would have supported it, but I guess what I'm saying is like, let me go back to use the example of my daughter's vacation trip. I ultimately said yes because it was the worst decision that I could make. Debbie and I even discussed this quite a bit for a few days, trying to figure out what's the right course of action, what we could say, what I could say, what I couldn't say. And early on, I'm like, I lost. I mean, I've already lost this. I know that I have to say yes. So, and that really was. I mean, honestly, it undermined the narrative of their mom. Even, I know I've talked about that. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on that. I made other videos about that situation. But the bottom line is that I knew that saying no to our daughters to being able to go to that wasn't going to accomplish anything. So in taking that big picture look, right? If I go back over to this one, right? Look at the big picture and not just the immediate. Oh, it's not showing me I was trying to do an arrow. This one right here. Look at the big picture and not just your immediate. That's the key, right? I was able to take a step back and go, okay, crap. This situation sucks. Thank God I don't have plane tickets to the Bahamas. And I made the best decision I could possibly make by allowing it to happen. I did push an issue to trade the time, which turned into a catastrophe. Initially, I mean, I will just say this. I mean, when I first said that to the ex, like, hey, no worries, no problem. You want them on that Monday and Tuesday that I was going to start my vacation? Not an issue. You can do your thing. I just want them on the other 2 days. It'll be piece of cake. It'll be great. Not a problem. She freaked out. How dare I do that? My daughter walks in the door during transition day and just unloads on me. How dare you make this about you? This has nothing to do with you. This is my vacation, not your vacation. And I'm like, cool your jets. Calm down there, little buckaroo. I'm trying to make it to where you can go, and we're just trading time. It's not a big deal. But anyways, so that's what I'm talking about. So sometimes you have to look, saying yes might be the right thing. And here's the thing. Most of the time, like this last line, most of the time it's a trap. Don't fall for the trap. Slow yourself down. Look at what's really going on. Look at the different options. Run down the scenario, all the different scenarios to figure out what your best course of action is, and don't fall for the trap. In that example I was just bringing up, I could have absolutely fallen for that trap. I could have said, no, you're not going. We have vacation plans. That's my priority. I have it. I had every right to say that, and I would have legally been in my right to say it. It would have drove a huge wedge and damaged my relationship and my daughter's relationship. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it wasn't worth it. So sometimes it's tough to see what the trap is, though. Sometimes it's really tough. All right. So if you guys are on track with me, give me a 1. If somebody has a question or something about this, about double binds and how to deal with it, ask it now. and then we will open up the floor to other things. Oh, see, Jax did ask a question. It says, my question is, why do they do this? Is it supply, power, or to hurt? It's all three. It really is. It's to manipulate your situation. It's it's all of those things, Jack. It's one of those things where it's to drive a wedge with your kids. It's to throw a monkey wrench into any plans that you had. And it's designed to cause pain. It's all of those things. And see, here's the really tough part is we can make the right quote unquote decision. We can make a decision that we are absolutely valid in doing, and we could win the battle, but we could ultimately lose the war. And in my mind, in that the battle is, the BS that's going on, and the war is the hearts and mind of your kids. Because oftentimes when we're presented with these situations, that's what it is. It's a decision or a topic to drive a wedge between our kids. And it is so easy to fall for the trap. It's so freaking easy. I mean, I was struggling with that at the beginning part of this, in my separation and divorce. And the thing is that, every one of those bad decisions it's like if you start out like let's say this is the 50% tile, looking at my hand on the screen, right? And you make a decision that you're justified in making, but it damages your relationship with your kids and you start to go down. And then now your kid is thinking, well, now mommy or dad is, they're not really thinking of me. They're just thinking of themselves. They're just saying no because they can. Dad said that mom always says no, and she's just said no again, right? Then it goes down some more. And it goes, let me get my hand here. It goes down more and more and more. And then you get to the point where they turn against you. Then your kid gets alienated against you. And in that scenario, it's not even active, right? The other parent isn't actively alienating. They're not going around saying, your mom or your dad is a piece of crap. They are just setting the stage, laying back, letting it play out, and letting us make those decisions that drive the wedges. So really think about that for a moment, right? And some of you guys I know are dealing with this or have dealt with this or have completely lost this, where you've got into a situation, layout, Jack says, like triangulation. Absolutely. Absolutely like triangulation. And the narcissistic X is orchestrating this theater to get you to do that, to get you to do the thing that's going to basically cause pain with your kid and make it worse. And it's really tough because they set you up in situations to where you don't want to say yes because you know that you're being manipulated. Let me do it this way so you can see, you know you're being manipulated. And if you say yes, then it's like, okay, so you're breaking a boundary, but it's a trap because they're trying to get it to where you're doing those things to damage your relationship with your child, to triangulate, like Jax was saying, with your kid. John says, Duane, had a psychiatrist friend tell me that I have to pretend the ex is dead and move on and not allow myself to be hurt. That is really a key. That's good advice. It's tough whenever, they're a zombie crawling out of the grave, still causing problems. Oh yeah, Blue says, and then they will say, we are driving the wedge, rolling the eyes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I was just saying. You are absolutely right, guys. See, here's the thing. Big picture. From my military background, think of the war. You're trying to win a war, not a battle. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a battle to win the war. It's more of a strategic decision, not a tactical decision. A tactical decision, unless I got the definitions wrong, is you're doing it in the immediate. It's like, oh crap, I got frickin' flames of hell coming down for me. I need to do something right this second to fix it, right? I mean, you guys all know from war movies and stuff like that, sometimes a whole platoon is sacrificed. Our mission is sacrificed to win the war. I mean, it sucks to be those people who are being sacrificed, but I mean, it's along the same lines. If you can look at it like in that scenario I was just talking about with that trip, by me looking at it like, oh crap, I see exactly what's being done here. I know that I'm going to lose this one, but I'm going to save the relationship with my kid. I'm going to win the war. Okay. Committed to the shift says, Duane, example, my MPD ex thought that allowing our son to do anything he wants when he's with him, he thought that he would make us argue more because I won't allow him to things he can do there and here. Yeah, and committed to the shift, I dealt with that too. I mean, I don't know how many times I had the conversation of, well, I don't have to do that at mommy's, or we do it like that here. And you can't, I mean, you can do it to, well, we do it like this here. We're not doing it there. You're not at your mom's, right? And, point and yell and be whatever. And it's not good. You just got to be calm about it and be like, hey, you know what, honey, that's fine. When you're with your dad, you do whatever you do, and that's cool. Here we have different rules and we do things differently, and that's okay. So you can do those things with your dad. That's great, but we're not doing them here. It's not a big deal. I fully get that it doesn't that it doesn't go that easy. Here's the thing, committed to the shift, that I want to tell you that is very critical for anyone listening to this is we think that kids, and some kids do, right? I mean, everyone has their own personality, but for the most part, the psychology of children is they like discipline. And what you will probably notice, and you may have noticed, potentially committed to the shift, is that they'll say, well, Daddy will let me do whatever. And you say, no, this is the way we do it. This is the way it is. And they'll push it, they'll push, and they'll boop, 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 poke you in the eye. And then whenever they realize that you actually do care about them, it makes them feel better. It's really weird. And I had this with my youngest, and it was really tough because she would fight me tooth and nail on it, trying to squirm out of everything, try everything to get out of it. Actually, my middle daughter did this too. And once they finally realize that, nope, you're consistent, you're setting down rules, that you're not just giving up, that you're not just going, yeah, okay, whatever, because, it's easier just to let everyone do whatever they want. They actually respond to it. It's just really tough because they make it a living hell to go through that. So that's my thought on that, committed to the shift. If you guys, give me a 1 if you agree with me on what I just said there. And let me look at some of the other comments. MFA says, strange game. The only winning move is not to play. How about a nice game of chess? If you guys don't know, that is a reference from the 1980s movie with Matthew Broderick called War Games, where they have a AI. Wow, that's funny. AI named Joshua, who was in control of all the nuclear weapons and decided that the best course of action was to start a nuclear war, and they had to convince the computer that there was no winning move, and that was kind of like the last line. Strange game. The only winning move is not to play. And then it popped up with, how about a nice game of chess? And that was all with text and a very computerized voice. Interesting game. Interesting movie. GA says, ex-Royal Navy gave it up for the narc. That sucks. Sorry to hear that. Let me scroll down. I see a bunch of 1s. Thank you so much. Committed to shift says, consistency, yes, thank you. Absolutely, it is. And it's hard. It's really hard to be consistent. This is all tough. This is really difficult to do. Committed to the shift says, it's working. My son is used to it now. That was one of many games. Oh, they don't end. They don't end. James wrote down, how about global thermal nuclear warfare? That's where he was typing, the games. Aaron in Oz. Welcome, Aaron. I think you're new, so welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. It says the narc parent also knows how you parent, so they can use that to launch the kids against you. Oh my God. That is so key. Thank you for saying that, Aaron. I should have put that in the slides because I know I've said that before, but that is true, right? They know what our defeat. I mean, they know us. They've spent the entire relationship watching what we do, tracking how we respond. And they know for the most part that if I go boop, how you're going to, what you're going to do. So they set it up. They do it all the time. They set it up. They set all the pieces in motion, and then they press the button. Normally it's the kids, and then they just wait to see what happens. And if we respond the way they think we are, then it starts building on their narrative. What Aaron said, and I'll read it again. The narc parent also knows how you parent, so you can use that to launch the kids against you. So they is what he meant. That is so important to remember. And the key part about that, as soon as you realize that, as soon as you go, they know my default position. So they're trying to do this to get me to do, to do A. Okay. So if I don't do A, if I, let me come back over here. If I come back over here and say yes, when they're fully expecting me to say no so that they can drive a wedge with the children and prove their point, we don't fall for their trap. We don't take their bait. It's hard to do. It's so hard to do because it's out of it's not our normal nature. This is why I also often say that we get into these situations to where we basically have to be the good cop, bad cop parent. I was talking to a coaching client the other day, and I said, which I've said before, is when you get into the situation that you have to discipline your child, you absolutely have to do it in such a way to where there's a consequence for their action, but it doesn't close off you being able to do something with them, right? It would be like, you're grounded from playing your video games. Okay, you're grounded from playing your video games. But you can still watch, the Disney movie together. Or you can actually what would even be better is like, you can bake cookies together, or you can make dinner together, or you can do something to where you're still having your time with them. They're still being punished, they're still being held accountable, and you better damn well stick with whatever you say, right? I mean, you don't say you're grounded for a month and then turn around and 3 days later or 15 minutes later undo it. You need it to be consistent. John says, Duane, my narc is dealing with 2 teenage girls and she's imploding. Kids told me she freaks out trying to teach the kids how to drive. I bring them and we have fun. Oh, and I'm sure, John, that she tries to use that against you too. Well, you're Disneyland dad, or all you ever do is have fun with your dad. That type of thing. Hold on, I need some water. Sorry about that. Hopefully that wasn't annoying sounding. I'm like getting hot in here. John says to Blue, you should see your kids and have them with you. That's insane. Oh yeah, there's that. Her story is not a good story. Angel says, Duane, what is my ex doing to our 8-year-old child? She has been, she's been on summer vacation with him in another state for about a month. I have 2 FaceTime calls with her per week, and she's been distant and sad. Well, I mean, at 8 years old, the problem, here's the thing. Even if you guys were great, that's tough for an 8-year-old. And actually, I remember when I went through our custody evaluation, the evaluator was trying to say that because the ex was wanting to move out of state. And she said, realistically, if this happens, if you move, then one of you will no longer be a parent. You're just going to be a friend because you'll never be around. And she said, and you will be traumatizing your child, twice or 4 times, multiple times a year whenever they're having this big disruption. So, unfortunately, that's kind of the way it is. Angel, the only thing I would say on that is just be very careful how you interact with her when you do those FaceTime calls, because, I would even almost try to say, for the sake of your daughter, I think you said it was daughter. Yeah, she is. Try to be, I hate to say this, but try to be more upbeat, right? Because she can also be thinking that, I miss mommy, mommy misses me. If I talk to mommy and I'm having a lot of fun, then she'll be mad, or she may be sad because maybe she thinks that I don't care about her, right? This is the type of stuff that goes through kids' heads. So be very careful how you deal with that. And I know it's tough because you don't want to, you don't want to be there and be like, well, I don't want to well, hey, I hope you're having a great time because we're having a great time here without you. I mean, you don't want to do that. But it's a really weird balance. And it's tough, right? I mean, and the problem is you can't, when we have narcissistic exes, we're not in a situation to where we can call up Billy or call up Jane and say, hey, how are things going? And get a real answer. Like, oh no, we're doing great. We're doing all kinds of stuff. We did this, we did that, and it's great, right? I mean, the kids know that it's World War III and, they're the pawns of it. So they feel guilty about all this stuff. And that's where a lot of that stuff happens. So and unfortunately, we're really in a tough situation to, on it, because there's real, it's another one of those double binds. It's like, how do you deal with it? Right. So Angel, if you have some more information to share on that, I'd like to hear it so I could dive down into that a little bit more. Let me look and see what everyone or what else is going on. Oh yeah, Jack is telling Aaron, join the Discord. I mentioned that in the beginning of the video on how to get to that. You can find that by going to the main YouTube channel. Just click on DSD anywhere, and when you get to the banner, it's this icon right here. Will take you to, the Discord. If you want to jump to PayPal, or not PayPal, but Patreon to be a patron, there's a Patreon button there. If you want to do PayPal, you can do it right there. If you want to go to my website, you can click it right there. I got to get those things in there, right? All right, so GA says, what is stopping the narc messing up a planned situation if you do say yes? What is stopping the narc messing up a planned situation if you do say yes? Well, they'll just do what they were planning on doing, right? I mean, if they were trying to, sometimes if they're just doing it to try to screw with things and they don't really want to do it, then it'll create some extra drama. But like in my situation, they just went on a little trip and then tried to make other things a problem, like switching the time around or whatever. They're going to try to create the conflict however they can. So if you were accommodating on whatever they were saying, oh yeah, sure, that's no problem. Or let's say hypothetically, they say, hey, I want to take Johnny to whatever. Okay, not a problem. We'll just switch that day. We'll do a trade, because most divorce decrees have a trade option. Just say, yeah, no worries. And then you can have them on Wednesday, and I'll take them on the second, 2 weeks from now on a Tuesday. That's your day. More than likely, they're going to freak out about that. But whatever. Randy says, Rainey Nichols says, I believe that dealing with narcs like this should earn us all a doctorate in psychology. Yeah, pretty much. That's funny. All right, let me scroll down a little bit. Oh no, it bumped all the way to the bottom. Okay, so man, we're starting to run out of time. So if there's any questions, and William, put your thing back in there if you're still here, and I'll hit it, because I'm basically, we're going to go do something as soon as this is over. So, and I still have to do a video for tomorrow too. Bummer. I got a lot of stuff to do. Oh, wait a minute. I might have a plan for tomorrow. Sorry, I'm thinking on camera. Shouldn't do that. I shouldn't think on camera. Lyle, hey Lyle, I didn't see you pop in. And sorry about Saturday. That was a really crazy day, but I haven't forgotten about you. He says, I say this every week. The name of the game is entitlement. Yeah, they think that they deserve everything and everything should go their way, and it's really frustrating. Chad says, I've done everything I can to get away from my ex. If I don't let her in, it minimizes the damage. It's still going to come. They can't stop. They are unable. So what do you do? So do what you can, or let me try that again. So do what you can to make them stop. And most of the time, making them stop is by not playing their game, not engaging with their crap. GA says, Duane, hey, you're still up. Wow, man. Thanks for clearing that up. Absolutely. All right, guys, I am, okay, so if you have another question, please tag me and ask it now. If you guys like today's topic, give me a thumbs up on the video, give me a 1 in the comments, and let me know that you appreciate this. If you really like what I'm doing here and you want to keep the lights on, you guys all know how probably know how YouTube is just screwing with creators. Supporting this channel through Patreon would be great and very helpful. The lowest tier, which maybe if I need to make a lower tier, someone email me and I can do that, is $5 a month. And that, as more people jump into it, will definitely help keep the lights on, so to speak, keep the cameras running, and keep things going. And you can, if you're interested in that, you can go to patreon.com/DSD Duane and check that out. Rainey says, Duane, why does the narc switch back and forth between demanding visitation and denying visitation? Rainey Nickel, they are doing that because they're trying to drive you crazy. They're trying to poke you in the eye and get you to react. So if they're demanding visitation and then you say, oh, sure, okay, all right, no problem. Yeah. How's tomorrow? And then they don't show up or whatever. It's because they want conflict. Guys, a narcissistic, toxic person does not want you to agree with them. They want conflict. They want to get under your skin. It's kind of like a bully, right? A bully does it out of fear and manipulation and trying to get you to do what they want, but they want you to do it under their terms. Which means if they say that they want to do something and you're like, oh, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. That's not a problem. We'll just do this. And it's like, oh, crap. Well, that's not the way that was supposed to go. You were supposed to get mad about that. You were supposed to argue. You were supposed to, put up a fight, put up the fists and do the thing. And if you're not, then you're not playing their game. You're not any fun. And that's kind of what, let me scroll back. I don't even know if I can find this. Who is it that said that? Oh, where is it? Where is it? I think it was Chad. Maybe, I don't know. The person who basically said, they're going to create problems. You just have to find ways not to counteract it. And that's what you do. And GA says, Duane, why does a narc go out and sleep around, then try to pull you back in through subtle messages? Oh, that's normal, GA. That's hoovering and trying to keep you a secondary supply and it's two parts. One is to keep you in the background on hot standby. So if they need you, you're there. The second part of that is, how low are your boundaries? How low is your self-esteem? If I go out and I screw around and I come back and give you a little bit of attention and you let all that go, you're just, you're more and more and more under their control, under their purview, and that's what it's about. It's all chaos. It's all chaos. It all goes back to what I was talking about before, where they want stress, they want chaos, they want emotional turmoil. They don't want someone to say, oh, here, well, sometimes they do, right? Oh, it's okay, let me give you a hug. I'm like pretending like I'm hugging somebody and patting them. And but even then, for a narcissist, that is a manipulative move for control. That's all it is. So Angel says, Duane, it seems like he creates conflict to make me look like I'm difficult. Angel, that is right there what you just, I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen, but right what you just said is absolutely it. That is the triangulation. That is the double bind. It's setting up scenarios to where it makes you look like you're being difficult just to be difficult. And the crazy part is our narcissistic ex does exactly that. But see, here's the, okay. I know I got to wrap this up, but just this final thought. They are trying to set the stage for that. They're trying to set the situation to where it looks like you're being the one doing the conflict. And they're able to do that because they're not emotionally attached to this. Okay? Think about that for a minute. They are not emotionally attached to all of this chaos. And since they are not, that's why they can pivot on a dime. That's why they can be acting one way one second and completely different the next. It's because they are focused on the conflict. We are dealing with the emotional consequences of it. We're dealing with the emotional consequences on ourselves, on our kids, and with everyone else that's involved. So it's easy for them to create a scenario that makes you look bad, that makes you feel guilty when they don't give a crap no matter what. And because of that, they appear calm, cool, collected, like they're doing really great. They're doing really great because they have no soul. They have no connection to their emotions. They have no guilt, remorse. They don't even have any real feeling towards their own children to put them ahead of anything. Think about it. Okay, another avenue on this. Think about this for a moment. Imagine, if you will, you had no emotional attachment to anything that's going on with this. You don't have it with your kids. You don't care about anything, any piece of equipment or household item or whatever. You care about nothing. Literally, not that you've gotten to the point that you've let it go, but I mean just really like it means nothing. All you care about is chaos, and you're also worried that this person who knows you is going to expose you. So destroying them is key. If I'm sitting there going, okay, oh crap, like in my situation, if I was this way, my ex knows all my deep, dark secrets. She's going to tell everyone I'm a scumbag. Oh crap, I have to destroy her so she has zero credibility to do that. And I can do that if I'm a narcissist because I don't care about anybody other than myself. I don't care the impact to the ex. I feel no guilt or remorse for the 2 decades that I was together with her in this particular crazy scenario that I'm making up in my head. So I don't care, right? I don't look at it. I don't feel guilty about it. I don't think about, all the things that, well, she didn't really do much for me, but let's say she did do stuff for me that I wouldn't feel guilty about it. And on top of that, I wouldn't feel guilty about how it's affecting my kids because it doesn't matter, because I don't really care, because I'm not thinking about it. All I want is to win. I want my scenario to play out, and I want to make damn sure that person has no ability to affect my reputation or expose me. And on that, I'm going to wrap this up. I should probably take that and make that a separate video. Rainey says, DSD, I believe that if I could really care about nothing, I would be a narc, which is absolutely true. Or to truly understand the narc crazy, I would have to be crazy. That is very true. Thank God none of us are that. Thank God we have the ability to heal from this, to change our perspective, to mitigate the damage that they're doing most of the time, and get our lives back. That's the key. All right, on that. Brett says, sounds like an episode and a half. Tara says, yes. Did you guys, okay, so if you guys liked that tirade, give the video a thumbs up and give me a 1 in the comments. And we will wrap this up. So what I'm also going to say is, if you made it to the end of this video, of this live stream, if you want to learn more about how to get your life back, break this crazy cycle of abuse, strengthen your relationship with yourself and your kids, start right now by hitting the subscribe button, clicking the bell so you don't miss a video. On that, guys, take care. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thanks for giving me your Tuesday evening. I will be back next Tuesday for another video and another live stream. It's good to be back in the normal rhythm of things. And on that, be kind to yourself. And I will chat with you on the next video. Take care.